Hello everyone and welcome to my video. My name is Sarah and today I'm going to tell you guys what books I read in 2019. So the year has come to an end and it's the start of a brand new reading year, but regardless, let me tell you how I ended off my 2019 reading year. And I finished 8 physical books and 8 audiobooks. That is only counting the books I read for fun, not for school. That's a lot. There's one book I read for school in here, and that is because I read it over the summer, and it didn't really feel like I was reading a book for school, and it taught me a lot for my career that I want to go into. So I went ahead and included it because it was a great book. As for a nonfiction book, it was good. Anyways, I will get more in depth of that a little later. So how this is going to work, because giving a review for all 18 books is going to take a very long time, and I don't have that time, and I'm pretty sure you don't, to have me sit here and talk about books. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the book I read, title, author, rating, and like a brief, very brief little snippet on how I felt about it, and that'll be it. For 2 of these series that I mentioned, I'm going to go ahead and give a dedicated review on, so look forward to those. But the rest of them are going to be really brief, and yeah, so let's get this ball rolling and share with you guys what I read. So the first book I read, I basically started in December of 2018, but I finished it in 2019, so I'm going to go ahead and count it, and that is Queen of Air and Darkness by the lovely Cassandra Clare. This monster book took me about 6 months to read. Yeah, it wasn't because I wasn't liking it, because I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. It was just with school, it was tough for me to read this giant monster brick of a book. Anyways, 5 out of 5 stars. Amazing conclusion to this trilogy. Well, yeah, it's a trilogy. And just very monumental for the series, so I absolutely loved it, and Cassandra's writing style is so wonderful and have matured so nicely. And yeah, 5 out of 5 stars, and I read from December 2018 to May of 2019. The next book I read in physical form, I forgot to mention that, might have. Anyways, these are my books I read physically. And anyways, the next book I read is The Gender Fall by Bella Force. This is book 5 in the Gender Game series. I started the Gender Game series, I think, summer of 2018, so this is just a continuation with that. I'm not going to give you too much because, you know, it's the 5th book in the series, and I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. The writing was just very simplistic, but I love the plot and the characters still, so it got a 3 out of 5 stars. So the next book is the one I was kind of talking about. I read over the summer, and it is called Freaks, Geeks, and Asperger's Syndrome by Luke Jackson. It is about a boy who has Asperger's Syndrome, and and his siblings also have disabilities as well, and basically he goes on to explaining what school is like for him. And I read this for my Introduction to Special Education class I took over the summer, and for a book review that we had to do, and this was really great. Like, it had great insight into what it's like to have Asperger's Syndrome, and just how school is tough but also good for him to go to. And it was overall a really great nonfiction book, and I'm usually not the biggest fan of nonfiction. I like reading fantasy worlds, but this one was pretty dang good. I rated this 4 out of 5 stars, only because I'm not the best with this genre, but I really enjoyed it, so 4 out of 5 stars. Good job, Luke Jackson. You did great. The next book I read was The Red Scrolls of Magic by Cassandra Clare. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. I just loved diving deeper into Alec and Magnus's relationship. It was absolutely wonderful, and I can't wait for the next one to be coming out this year. And yeah, so I thought it was cute, adorable, adventurous, and I loved it. So 5 out of 5 stars again for Miss Cassandra Clare. Alright, so the next 2 books that I read finish up the Gender Game series. So I read book 6, which is The Gender Plan, and I give this a 4 out of 5 stars. The plot was especially high stakes in this one. So I kept turning the page, so I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. Still simplistic writing, but the plot is what really kind of drove this one forward. So I really liked it. So 4 out of 5 stars. And then the next one I read is The Gender End, but this also by Bella Force. This is the last book to the Gender Game series, and 4 out of 5 stars for this one as well. The plot, the characters, everything drove it forward. Still the same simplistic writing style, and there's a couple open-ended questions I didn't quite enjoy, but I still gave it a 4 out of stars nonetheless. So a good end to a average series. So good job. The next book I pulled out of my random read jar, if you want to go ahead and go see that random TBR video, and that is 6 of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I gave this one a 5 out of 5 stars. It was totally worth the hype. I loved the adventure. The first part of the book was kind of slow, but the end totally picked up pace and just kept me turning the page. And I love the characters, it's so dynamic, and I loved it. It was fantastic. So 5 out of 5 stars, and that was great. And I ended my reading year strong with Cricket Kingdom, book 2 of this duology, again by Leigh Bardugo, and I just finished it today, and it is a 5 out of 5 stars. Hands down, I loved it. When I wasn't reading this, I kept thinking about it. It took me a little while to read because life gets in the way, but regardless, 5 out of 5 stars. Highly recommend this series, and it definitely was a strong end to this amazing duology. So now I'm going to talk about the audiobooks I read, given all these are rereads for me. Sorry, cars keep driving by. I apologize. I keep getting distracted. Anyways, so I listen to Audible when I'm only in the car, and I've only been doing rereads because I am in the car. I get very emotional and very expressive. Even during the ones I've read, most of these have made me cry at least once. And regardless, they are all rereads for me. So I already knew them. I loved them before. And I'm not going to give you the individual ratings because I would just sound like a broken record, because all these are 5 stars for me. I loved it. The narrators were really did a great job with reading it. So anyways, let me just kind of share those books I gave, share those books with you, and yeah, so let's dive on into my Audible books. So the first one I finished this year was City of Glass, and then I continued on with the series by reading City of Fallen Angels, City of Lost Souls, and City of Heavenly Fire, all by Cassandra Clare. All these books, as I said earlier, all 5 stars. I loved it. I love being back in this world. It's been a long time since I've read these books, so being back in them was absolutely great. So I finished my reread of the Mortal Instruments series, and it was great. It was just as great, and I forgot so much this time around. I was like, I knew what all the books were generally about, but not like all the specifics again, so a refresher was so great, and I remember exactly why I call these some of my favorite books. So 5 out of 5 stars for all of those. And then I continued on with my Cassandra Clare reread, and I went ahead and read, hold on, I have to gather them all. Alright, so I went ahead and reread Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare, Clockwork Prince, and Clockwork Princess. And as I already said again, 5 out of 5 stars again. I definitely now remember why this is my top favorite book ever. It is so wonderful. I can say that was wonderful. And that just like, her writing style matured so much since the Mortal Instruments series. So the writing is just so beautiful. I love Tessa, Will, and Jem, and all the wonderfulness that this book has to offer. And yeah, so this reread also went just as well as my Mortal Instruments reread, and even better, reminded me why this book particularly was my favorite, and just how this whole series was just so amazingly wonderful. So I'm glad I got to read this and be re-immersed in this world again. Now to break my Cassandra Clare reread, I'm going to go ahead and I've been rereading The Red Queen, which I finished this December. On my audiobook, I will continue with Sword of Glass. Wow, getting these all mixed up in my brain. Anyways, so Red Queen, 5 out of 5 stars again. I just loved it so much. I loved Mare. I totally forgot about the betrayals that go on in this, and the confusion of feelings and the stakes. Like, there's pretty high stakes in this book, and they're very believable. And I just absolutely, I adored this reread again by Victoria Aveyard. The reread wasn't by Victoria Aveyard. This book is by Victoria Aveyard. I don't remember if I mentioned that or not. But anyways, so yeah, 5 out of 5 stars again. I absolutely loved it, and I just found myself totally immersed in the world while I'm driving. That sounds dangerous, but you know, it happens. Anyways, so yeah. So those were all my audiobooks that I finished. Oh, those were all the books I read in the year of 2019, and if I had to choose my favorite book, it would be Queen of Air and Darkness by Cassandra Clare, which was a great concluding novel overall for that trilogy, and I love being back in the Shadowhunter world with new stories. So, anyways, let me know down below some books that you read this year and what books you're looking forward to reading this coming year. Or by the time you guys see this video, it will be 2020. So, anyways, thank you guys for watching. Happy New Year. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, please. It really helps me out. And subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of this wonderful bookish content I make. Anyways, see you later, guys, and bye.